sweet. So yeah, I noticed, or I learned a valuable lesson a couple months ago. I had um, like the most sales, the most commissions I've ever had. Like maybe even like cumulatively. Like it was just like, whoa, how is this happening? I've never made this much money from art before. And it became overwhelming. And I had commissions coming in that I was having to like plan like too far in advance. You know, it was like June and I was planning things for September. And I was just like, I don't know like how far ahead I can get. Like, you know, it's overwhelming. And so I had to like close commissions, and that was a mistake because I ultimately stopped that momentum. You know, I think by like shutting it off, it was like, okay, no more momentum, please. And then there was a drop. And now that I have caught up, it's September, I'm back to where I am. It's like things are slowing down. And you know, I've heard before, just got to keep the momentum going, keep the momentum going. Like I've heard that so many times. And that was really my time to practice it. And I stopped the momentum.
Well, I want to say something about that though, because in your perspective, because you stopped taking on new work at that time, it stopped. But I've seen you diversify a lot, and you've brought in income in other ways. You try to raffle, you're taking, so the momentum never stopped. It just might have slowed down, and it's super easy to spin the top again. So building out that targeted fan base and that email list is really important, because those are people that you're building relationships with, that you're going to go back and want to connect with again, and hopefully they'll want to support your art again. Incentivizing the process is really helpful, right? There'll be the people that just maybe know what you have to offer and they sign up right away to your mailing list, but offering them something in order to sign up is very effective. So like next week, I'm going to try offering one of my super juicy trips if you sign up for my mailing list. So you'll get the link, you sign up and you get the link. And really, I think all artists need to realize that they have something to share in terms of content, and that is valuable to somebody else. And I know a lot of people are resistant about getting on camera or recording themselves talking, but that's also the beauty of a recording. You can just keep doing it until you're comfortable with the way it sounds. It doesn't have to be a live thing, and then you take that juicy tidbit, whatever it is, your little insight, and you incentivize people to sign up for your mailing list because they want to hear from you, and that's one way. There are, of course, like sign up for my mailing list, get a chance to win this canvas print. You have to give a little to get something. And I think that making it fun and exciting for people to want to connect with you is a lot, more effective in the long run. It keeps people engaged. So be
Yeah.
thinking about like, what incentives can I offer for people to want to connect? And how can I make it clear that like this email list is of something they want to be a part of, that I'm not going to just be spamming them with a bunch of crap or hitting them up a couple times a week to buy my art, and maybe that there's more to it than just the sales as well, that you have this valuable information that you want to pass on. And then the sales are just a way they can support you for that.
Yeah. I really like the idea of the mailing list just being marketing. It's going to be like these little insights into my process, and it's going to be like a deep dive into what some of my paintings mean, because like I post some things, if I post a new painting on Instagram or Facebook, I will write about it, but oftentimes there's like a much deeper like emotional process that went into it that I don't necessarily want to expose all of to everyone everywhere. And so I like the idea of the mailing list being like, these are people that like actually care about my art. So I will tell them like all of the juicy details and all of the emotions and all of the experiences that I went through while making this painting, because like they clearly care a little bit more than just someone that searched like visionary art hashtag on Instagram and it popped up. So I really like it to be this kind of like intimate experience. And ultimately, like I love painting because I just love the act of painting, but something that I love so much about this process has been the connections that I've formed with people, and like the way that it's just this instant like barrier it like crashes down any barriers, you know, to connect with someone over art, and especially over your or their art. It's very intimate and very personal. So I really love the idea of like this mailing list is like a community. It's like this like warm place of people that I know support what I'm doing, and I know that I can be my genuine authentic self with them. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. That was kind of my idea when I started a Patreon. And I've stopped the Patreon hustle. Like I still have it and I might revisit it, but it didn't feel like the best use of time for me.
Can we talk
And
about that? Why?
I know it takes time to get patrons, you know, and I know it's taking a lot of marketing stuff, but when I actually like crunch some numbers, the amount of patrons that I would need to have to make my offerings worth my while was just too much, and I was going to have to dedicate too much time to keeping Patreon updated and organized and not enough time just painting. So again, it's not something that I'm quitting. It's something that's just like on the back burner. I think there's a better way for me to organize it because I've seen other artists do it really successfully. But right now, I'm leaning more towards a mailing list and then linking PayPal to it. And you can set up like a monthly automatic payment on PayPal. So that's something that I'm looking into, to be like, hey, I'm not doing Patreon, but like if you want to do a monthly donation, here's the link. You know, I'll send you prints, I'll send you pins, whatever, something like that. That's a little bit more like on my turf and like my ballpark.
I really think that that's a smart move, that building out your fan base first and getting that mailing list packed full of people that are super interested in what you're offering. Then you hit them back, you know, 6 months down the road when you have some evidence of this offering and you have built out this library to be able to say, look what I'm doing. This stuff is super valuable. You definitely want to jump on my Patreon and support this on a regular basis. You know, so that sounds like a really wise use of your time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, you know, there's the building relationships part of all of this. And I want to touch on that, that if you want to grow a sustainable art business, then these art sales are not one and done, right? These are people that you want to build long-term relationships with. So they add to their collection and they want to start including more of your work in their space, or that they love what you do. They want to share it with their friends and family and give it as gifts, you know. So some ways that I nurture that relationship, one is I want to make all my current supporters know how much I really appreciate them and invite them back to make another sale. So I include a little note in every sale that's like, thank you so much. Please connect with me on my social media. Here's a coupon for 20% off your next purchase. Or make it big, 50% off. Come back, you know, and they feel like, oh, this is a special deal for me. It's not something I saw online. I can use this code. Let me do that now. Or, oh, I could think of a friend, you know, and just keeping this, not that you always have to give people something, but it makes them feel special and it shows a level of appreciation, you know, for them. And who doesn't love a good sale? I think that there's something to that as well, that it's just encourages that purchase decision that much more, you know. But you have to remind people and ask, and that's where I fall short sometimes, is I just like expect people to know I need them to buy art, you know, instead of reminding them that they need this for their home, or that they actually love that piece when they saw it on the internet that first time, you know. And that's, a relationship is a two-way conversation too. You have to be engaging and wanting to know what is going on with those people as well. I'm glad you're taking it all in, Eduardo. It's good stuff.
Eduardo, do you prints or do you just sell originals, or what do you do?
I'm a little bit the old school with this because no, I only have originals, but yeah, I think it's time. Yeah, I think it's time, and I have some pieces that I have the feeling that they are pretty, can I say universal? Universal? Can I
Yeah.
say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of people are like has been moved because of these pieces. And well, yeah, there are some pieces that has this big potential, and I think it's time to just evolve. Yeah. But lots of the things that you have mentioned are so important. I need to develop this discipline of building communication with my clients, and so important. Yeah. Sometimes I just, as you said, Anya, I just expect that people do stuff, you know, and reach me out and all this stuff. And I think we have to be there constantly, yeah, trying to communicate and interact. And yeah, I'm a little bit stuck in that, but yeah, conversations like this help me a lot and push me to yeah, to expand my horizons, you know. Yeah, I think it's time, and I have the material. So yeah.
Perfect
It's
timing
about
then.
time.
And you've come to
It's
the
about
right place to be encouraged and guided in that process. So that's exciting, you know, to know that it's all happening in perfect timing in terms of where you're at in your process with this. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. You were meant to be at the easel for all those years, creating this masterful collection that is really incredible. And when the time is right, it'll be revealed and people will have access, you know, to that. So, and I feel like the time is now, as you're saying. So when things like an email list might be so far from where you're at, think about what efforts you do have in place. For example, Instagram is essentially an email list, right? It's access to people and a way to connect and communicate with them and to do what I'm talking about, build relationships, remind them about your offerings, make those sales. So taking like wherever you're at right now with your platforms and seeing how can I step up my game there, my presence, how can I be more engaged with not just what I'm telling them, but what they're saying. So maybe that's going back to some of your collectors or people that have supported you in the past or just showed interest in your art and liking some of their photos, commenting on their family vacation, you know, and they're like, oh, that artist Anya, remember that piece we got, you know, like, what is she up to? Let me see what else she's creating. Maybe they're back to your profile now. Whereas if you had never liked that post or left that comment, they might not have thought about you again, you know? So we have access to people right now in all these ways. In social media, when it becomes distracting and overwhelming, that's where the getting organized part comes in. You don't just aimlessly go to do work on social media and expect that you'll be productive. You've got to say, I'm going to spend the next hour posting in 5 groups about this painting with this content, and that's it. You know, go in with a plan, know where you're going to navigate, and, you know, that's maybe staying out of the newsfeed, not going to see what other people are doing right now, but just sticking to your tasks and, you know, building up your presence there. And the same for Instagram. I'm going to go like in the next half an hour, I'm going to like 50 pictures on 50 different accounts, you know, and I think about it all the time, how in my notifications, if I see someone random or anyone has liked one of my photos, I'm like, who's that person? How did they find me? And I might go back and look at them. How many people are doing that for us when we go and like their photos, like, oh yeah, who's this? Damn, this Eduardo's work is tight, you know, like now they're showing their friends. It's amazing how you just got to like get it back, and it's subtle. That doesn't feel like salesy, right? I'm not like, buy my prints, I'm broke. I'm like, hey, I like this picture of the flowers you posted in your backyard. Beautiful. Sometimes I paint stuff like this. Check it out. Right? That's like a way, and that's not being not genuine. I'm not still like trying to sneak my message in there, but painting is something I'm passionate about. I genuinely want to share that with other people, and I want them not to just buy my art, but to see my work. And it's okay for you to talk about it in a way that doesn't feel like you're trying to sell them something or push it on them, you know, but you just got to show up to initiate that conversation. Something we all can be doing.
And I
Yeah.
also want to
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say,
Go,
Eduardo.
I just wanted to thank you both. That's it. This is very valuable information for me. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna work on this. And yeah, one of my biggest mistakes is always delaying stuff. You know, as we said at the beginning, sometimes we know what it's the right action, and we just procrastinate that a lot and fuck no, it's about time. We have to do it. I have to do it now. My website, is I need to finish it, and it's such an important channel. And so yeah, I have to really invest energy in this stuff. Yeah,
I
thank
want
you
to say
for.
one thing about that though. There's still a bit of resistance. And when I hear you say it, the urgency behind now's the time, I have to do this stuff. I mean, yes, that's true, but I want to do this stuff. I am excited to update my website. I get to curate this art experience for people that are connecting with me. That feels really good. If I look at these tasks like another thing I have to do, it might just end up with those other things that I have to do that may still not be done. So this has
Not,
got to be
not
something I'm
acting.
pumped about.
I get you. I get you, and I'm not acting from lacking, but from the desire of expanding myself, my art, and my work.
Right.
I completely get it. Yeah.
And the reality that it's actually going to be easier and more fun that you can imagine, and that it is in perfect timing, and any resistance about how long it's taken you to get here, you have to let that go, because that's clearly irrelevant to your next move, but amazing how a lot of artists will, because of the fact that they haven't done it yet, still won't do it. Like, oh, I haven't done it, so what? It's just, we let it hold us back. Now is the time. You're right. Now is the time. What were you going to say, Rosa?
I'm ready to buy a print Eduardo whenever you have them. You have one buyer right here. I love your art. I'm ready to buy an original whenever I can, but until then, ready to buy a print. So ready. So you need
a model. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to get also ready to model. You can paint me if you want. But yeah, like, love your art. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful. It's just, it needs to be seen by everyone. And then you're welcome. Going back to mailing lists, I don't know if any of you know Olivia Jane or follow her, but she has like a really good newsletter. So I think she started it from like wanting to go off social media or something, but she has a monthly newsletter. And I, like, when I see it in my inbox, I'm like, yes, like, I get excited for it. It's not like an annoying marketing thing that I instantly delete. She always has like a theme. So she'll talk about some social issue or something that she's experiencing in her life or her community. And it's like a really well thought out piece of writing. Sometimes it's resources if you want to donate more, if you want to get more involved. It's just like, it's a really well curated mailing list. And then she also makes a playlist every month. So then there's a link to her Spotify playlist. And it's just this like really wonderful example of a way to like form that community and get that going and being like, this is a part of me. This is something that I care about. And this is something that I've been listening to or watching or reading about. Here, I want to share it with you all. And then there's her art there too. But because it's not just her art and it's kind of like a snippet into her life, I feel like it's this really intimate, like one-on-one experience almost. It's like, oh, what's she listening to these days? Or like, oh, this is what she's doing with all of her vegetables that she's growing. Like, it's just really a really good example, I think, of a way to build a community around your art through a mailing list that doesn't feel like total marketing, that feels like personal,
Question. So
yeah.
I speak Spanish and some English as well. So I have clients of that speaks both languages. So how would you manage this situation? Because if I share stuff in English, then I would be excluding the other clients, So how would you manage this situation?
How I've seen it done in the past is people include both. Let's say on a post on Instagram, the first half of the caption is in English and then you do it again in Spanish. Just be as inclusive as possible. They're also translate
at the same time.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, put it for both, You could put even in the first line, like translated in Spanish below, then put it in English if that's the majority of everyone, and then put in Spanish so that people don't just bypass it if they don't see the Spanish there, And then on everything from like your website or something like a newsletter, there's so many translate plugins, things that you can include so that your content is accessible to everyone based on any language they're in around the world. Because I imagine your fan base is just going to continue to grow with people from all different cultures and languages. And yeah, you'll be able to at least hit the first two right now with the Spanish and English, but have options for everyone in the future.
So I have to be inclusive in the same post, right? In the same post, I should include both languages.
I would. If my fan base were split 50-50 or even like 30% for one of them, I don't want to exclude anyone. I want everyone to be able to read my content, and it's not that hard for me to just translate and paste, and include both. And one thing I want to say about just putting yourself out there, and you've really grown a lot showing up here. I think like your English is fluid. I understand every word. And I don't necessarily sense, it's not that you're not confident about it, but like, I think that a lot of people are not actually with like, whenever there's any kind of like language barrier or even just an accent, people hold back and don't want to put themselves out there because they think that they sound different or that it won't be well received, but there comes a point where we have to get outside of our heads, and realize that no one is getting caught up on an accent, right? That your art is beautiful. They want to hear your message. And if you can express it to the best of your ability in whatever language you can, that's all that matters. The fact that you're doing it. No one is like spending time analyzing those things that we get caught up in our own minds about, so yeah. So important. Rosa, I like what you shared about the email list. I think that having something people are looking forward to opening would be super exciting. That's the kind of email list and marketing I want to do, is education based. And for me, I'm finding the balance between my free offerings and what I need to be my paid offerings, and just allowing that experience to be supported and unfolded, like just knowing that it's okay to charge money for really valuable things, and that there's so much information out there. There's plenty for me to give as well. And that people want to pay for it. They actually are able to make more money in their own business by hearing these tips. They're more confident than they were before, and that's something that they want to support and see continue, So I'm still trying to figure out the best model for it all. And ultimately, I wonder if it'll just be supported to be something I can make free and accessible to everyone. And I'd like to find like the funding for it in a different place. But for now, I think just like asking and putting it out there is my best move.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you already have a lot of followers on socials. So I don't know if this is like the best tactic, but there's another artist that I follow. He's based in Denver. He goes by Detour 303. And he's a muralist, and he does these like art tip Tuesdays. And so every Tuesday he'll record like a 5 or 10 minute video talking about anything relating to making art, the business of art, like anything like that. And I think for him, it was like coming from a genuine place of wanting to share. And Anya, with you, it's like your offerings are so genuine and so amazing and so potent. And maybe it's something like that. Maybe you start a YouTube channel, and then eventually your YouTube channel gets a bunch of hits and you can make money off of like advertising or something like that. Or maybe it's a starting point for you putting out a book or putting out a web seminar or like weekly, monthly, like Zoom, like online workshops, like you could, I feel like you already have all of the knowledge, all of the information, and all of the ideas on what people should learn about and hear about to make a workshop. So like, maybe that's it.
And I've got a lot of the content already for what we've done here on the train. I've been working closely with Lisette to get it all broken down. And there's just so much to do. And we're trying to assemble a team to get the train's content also edited and figured out. So I know that it's coming in perfect timing, and that I've shown up, I've done the work, I've made these recordings, I've shared this information, and now the best way to go about monetizing it will present itself. And I'm doing a couple of testing things just to see, you know, on like, I think the first thing I'm going to do, hopefully this week, will be a compilation of videos that comes with notes and examples on things like writing proposals, and then seeing sample proposals, and then just charging a one-time fee to have access to that material, and see how many people might be willing to pay the $50 to get to like have access to, you know, the 3 to 5 videos and all these notes.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think the unlimited access is really good. So people will be like, great, this is a lifetime of knowledge. Like I can always refer back to this. You know, when I've taken just like different world, but when I've taken herbalism classes, like a huge incentive for me to sign up for one is knowing that I'm going to have a notebook full of information that I can refer back to for my whole life. And then when I've taken online classes, having it be like a move at your own pace, you have access to all of this information forever. Like those are the only time, you know, I'll sign up for an online herbal class, is knowing that I have now this link that I can go to and I can learn about all of this on my own time when I need it and when it's relevant to me.
And
so
I know I don't have to worry. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like the work at your own pace too, and we'll, even if it's not forever, give people like at least 3 to 6 months of having, you know, the links to those videos.
I feel so grateful for this session and all this information that I teached a workshop, online workshop, like a couple of weeks ago, and it was pretty nice experience, and I'm very satisfied with the result. And I have the links, but all the information it's in Spanish, but I could share it with you. And if you have somebody that can translate that information, there is some rich methods and stuff there, very powerful, that I think it would facilitate the creative process if you don't know some of these approaches, you know. So I would love to share it with you completely for free.
Thank you. Are you charging for your courses?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, awesome. So that's like you know, something you've already developed? Is this teaching online?
This workshop was the first time, but I want to keep doing this, and I'm planning to doing it in English as well. But yeah, I just wanted to give this to you, you know, because yeah, this info, it's great. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. So let me know. I can give you the links, and it's like 12 hours, 12 hours, 6 links.
Nice.
Yeah.
What platform did you use?
Zoom.
Did you just use Zoom and then you're keeping the links?
Zoom.
And then you just kept the Zoom links? I never know how to, I gotta look that up on how to get the links. I save it to my computer and then I just have the file and then I have to re-upload to YouTube.
No, sorry. Yeah, those are YouTube links. Yeah.
Okay. So the same thing.
I recorded the sessions and I uploaded the videos in YouTube. Yeah.
Perfect. You did them live?
Yes.
How many people did you have?
14.
Nice. And where'd you find them? They were just your fans?
I just posted the workshop in my Facebook account, and yeah.
What did the workshop include and how much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
No, it's okay. $130 for these 12 hours and homework. And what I teach is it's a method that I learned at the Angel Academy of Art. It's a Bargue piece. Do you know Charles Bargue? So at the Angel, we used the method that was created in France, like in the 19th century. These French artists created a course, a joint course, and the Angel and other ateliers they based their teaching on this course, you know. So yeah, basically what I do, it's I guide all the people through this process, and at the same time I'm teaching and sharing all the principles, all the keys, and yeah, there's very powerful information there. Yeah.
That's awesome. And the experience of like getting to see how people receive your information and how much they've grown, like it's so fulfilling on many different levels to get to teach and to share. And I know a lot of people don't view themselves as a teacher, but really we're all teachers. We're all passing on our experiences, and we're even living by example, whether we know it or not. People are watching and they're learning from our behaviors, you know. So when you decide to step into that role, even, you know, if you don't think that that's you, but just by making yourself vulnerable and sharing, and then you get to see the impact you've had on somebody else and realize, wow, like my experience was valuable. It, you know, it's just how we're giving back to humanity as well. So I love that you're monetizing that and feeding all those birds with one seed.
Yeah, this was the first online workshop, but I've done several. So yeah, I think I'm ready to do it in English as well. So yeah,
Yeah, you're
but
definitely ready.
you know, you can count with that, with those links. So let me know. I can share them with you. I can send them through email or whatever, and you might learn something.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
And I think even the beautiful thing is with art, sometimes you learn so much just by seeing it too. So maybe I'll learn something regardless.
So true.
And what I think is that, well, you all know, to paint, it's very difficult, right? It's very difficult. Lots of elements have to convey in a harmonic way. So we have a powerful result, you know. So this method, what it does is it organizes the whole process, and it gives so much clarity. And yeah, from the moment I started painting, and it was like 5 years ago, and then I went to this academy, and this method really gave me like so much like effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, it's great. It's the method that the masters used, but a little bit updated. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've been thinking for the past week or so that I really want to challenge myself and do some portrait and figure painting, because I feel like with what I've been doing lately, it's like, I don't want to say I've mastered it, because there's so many hours to go to mastery. But it's like, I don't know how to articulate it. Like I know how to do it, you know, like what I'm painting is like, it's not a challenge for me anymore. You know, I can do like whatever it is that I paint, I'm just too used to it. And I know how to get from point A to Z essentially. And for me with portraits and figures, like I've strayed away from it because they've been hard and unknown. And I'm feeling that stagnance in myself of like, it's time for a challenge again, you know, because with painting in general, like it all started as a challenge. Like I didn't know what I was doing when I picked up a brush. No one was teaching me what to do. And so it's like after years and years of like refining my own skills, now I feel like I'm at a level where I want another challenge and I want to be a beginner again. So yeah, I'm feeling inspired to do that and to challenge myself and maybe paint something bad, you know, paint something that I'm not happy with, because that's the experience, that's the learning process, and that's how you get better, to be like, ooh, wow, this is not up to par, so how can I make it better? Let me just keep working at it. So yeah, I'm just feeling the need to do that lately.
Rosa, we all have like this idea that the great masters, all that they did, all the paintings they have created were amazing, and that's not true, you know. All of them, Velázquez, Rembrandt, all of them had bad experiences and bad paintings as well, you know. And honestly, from my perspective and based on the experience I have, I would dare to say that there's no better way to evolve as an artist than to practice the human figure, because for me it's the hardest challenge, honestly. And I think, like, if you can represent the human figure, you would be able to represent whatever you want, you know. That's what I think. I'm not saying this is a fact, but that's my opinion about this. And yeah, the human figure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've heard that from other people, and I just totally, like, from experience, you know, if I'm painting a lot of flowers or leaves or something, like, nature is very imperfect. So your angle doesn't have to be quite right, and it's still going to look like a flower petal, because in nature, like, they fold and they bend and sometimes they make awkward angles. But a human body, you know, while we all have so many different shapes and sizes and curves and rigidness, there's still, like, you have to be precise, otherwise it's not going to look proportional anymore. Like, it, yeah, you really have to be perfect.
we are so familiarized with the human figure that a person that has no experience can easily tell you, Eduardo, that eye looks a little bit bad, you know. But
Yeah.
nobody will tell you that with a flower, a petal, or a tree, or whatever, you know. So that's the challenge there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inspired.
And